We are live on YouTube and I am streaming on StreamYard. Okay, here we go. So, upon request by Marie, Megan, Olivia, and Maria, I think. I have a feeling I'm getting her name wrong, but I think it's right. Anyways, it's not a big. Well, maybe that's not actually true. Names are important. I take that back. Just bear with me a second. Just getting a couple things set up. So yeah, I am live in YouTube, streaming in StreamYard, and I may, if I'm feeling up for it, I may I don't know. I guess this is just who I am. Making sure it's working properly here. Load slow. That's okay. We are. Yeah, I'm using those two streaming services at the same time, so obviously that's taking up quite a bit of computing power. Yes, sorry. I thought it was that makes sense. Julia, so Olivia, Julia, and Megan. Okay. Julia, Olivia, Megan. Okay, got it. It's Julia, whose name I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Julia and Olivia that make this video, so that's what we're doing. So I am going to get right into it now. Size first, so I'm going to list 5 things that guys need to avoid in relationships, and 5 things that guys need to promote, encourage, and do frequently in a relationship to have a healthy one. So there's a few things that guys that would help it. To stop. So the first 5 things I'm going to mention are from pettiest to most breakup worthy, I would say. Small things to the breakup worthy things. First is not listening. Not listening to your girl. I'm telling you from the start, being attentive and listening to your attention. Second, if you're going to be in a relationship, you need to don't minimize females' emotions are validated or valid, because they're not. Not all of them are. But it's equally unhealthy to go the other extreme to minimize or disregard their emotions altogether, just because they might be a little exaggerating or more expressive than you'd like them to be. You have to understand that women are generally more expressive than men. That's fine. That's just how we're wired. Differently, complementary. So women are more verbally expressive. And when they have something you have to get off their chest, be a man, suck it up, and listen. Third is, don't minimize their emotions, and definitely don't tune them out. Don't stop listening. Don't think shouldn't be attentive to your woman. This goes back to the golden rule in the Gospels too, right? Treat people you want to be treated. How would you feel if your woman wasn't listening to you, how would you feel if your woman dismissed or downplayed how you felt about something, right? You wouldn't like it either. So reciprocity. Do to her as you would like her to do to you. It's a simple rule for life, but honestly, it works for every area of it. Okay, the third one is guys need to don't treat your woman like one of the guys. Now, this is more prominent in families where there's one sister and a lot of brothers, where the one sister kind of gets treated like a guy because she's the odd guy out, if you will. So, but in a relationship, this is a no-no. Do not treat your lady like she's one of the guys. Now, I'm not saying don't include her with the guys, but don't treat her like one of the guys. What I mean, like, don't roughhouse her. Don't, punch her lightly on the shoulder, and don't tell guy jokes to your lady. So, don't treat your lady like one of the guys. Okay, this one would be obvious, but should be obvious anyways. So don't, if you have issues in your relationship, because your relationship's going to have issues, whatever you do not correct or approach or attempt to settle any kind of dispute or contention between you and your lady in public with anyone else to see. I'm telling you, correcting your lady in public, guarantee, if not for the doghouse, at least probably a good, okay, we need a break. But it can, if you don't nip it in the bud soon, it can definitely lead to the loss of the relationship itself, because it's just such bad etiquette to call out your woman about something in public. No, but there are exceptions, okay? So if your woman is drunk and swearing at you and cursing at you and accusing you of things, no, I'm not saying to return fire with fire, but I'm saying, no, that's not true. Listen, we need to go. And finally, of course, the number one deal breaker, be faithful. All right. See, cheat with your body, you first have to cheat with your mind, your heart, and your eyes. I mean, your mind, your eyes, and your heart. That most young people never think about it, because young people just don't. A lot of young people just don't think. So it's not very surprising that most of us don't know how to function. But in regards to like etiquette too, I would say learn how to not take things personally that you shouldn't. Try to deal with things in a diplomatic, calm, and serene tone. Tone of voice goes a long way in relationships, especially for guys. Well, both sexes, it's very important. All right. So those are the 5 things that guys absolutely should not do in a relationship. And these are the next 5 things I'm going to mention are 5 things that guys absolutely should do without fail, and on a frequent basis. So I'm going to start from the smaller stuff to the more important stuff. So, let's see. Words of affirmation and confirmation. So, if your wife, say, you worked hard all week and she washed your car for you just because, and just so don't take it for granted, but say something. And you just say, babe, listen, I know you washed the car and I didn't ask you. You didn't have to do that, so thanks for doing that, babe. Appreciate you. Love you. maybe, give her a kiss. Um, uh, Physical affection is very important, but it's more about the connection between the emotion of the moment that will a woman will feel much more receptive to physical affection once the emotional, uh, verbal appreciation has been expressed. Actually, this is what actually works both for guys and girls. That when we're validated as people, we're receptive as mates. It's like a door. So leave it at that. Okay, so just be appreciative. Then make sure you're. So the next part would be to. Let me see. So pretty appreciative. Secondly, I would say do things without being told. Um, so this should be. I mean, if you're an adult, this should come somewhat naturally without being told, ironically, anyway. So take out the trash, do the dishes, help her with the laundry. If you got kids, help with split your uh, child care responsibilities to the best of your ability in a way that works for you as a couple. Um, so that'd be it. So do things without being told, and express gratitude and appreciation when it should be expressed. Third would be, let's see, at the end, doing things of a romantic nature that are, say, not your typical, wouldn't be your birthday or anniversary. So if you're a guy and your lady likes flowers, chocolates, cards, and I would suggest to buy your lady chocolates, flowers, and cards on a every so often on days that are not in and around her birthday or your anniversary, to show her that you care about her and that you're thinking about her. The other thing I'd also mention on that note is that if you're going to do that, try to make sure you're catering it toward her likes. Like, for example, I know my mom likes the color yellow, and my dad is very keen on getting my mom yellow flowers and yellow cards, and so there's a theme, right? So pay attention to themes, and so yeah, I would say pay attention to the themes, and then be romantic in your relationship and take initiative in that endeavor. Um, Fourth one, I would say um, demonstrate sacrificial servitude in a way that in a way that would what's the word, instill a sense of reciprocity. So, for example, if I were to, like, see, for example, those domestic, do the laundry, um, do the dishes, even other things too, like cooking, cleaning, general housekeeping. So, I mean, if we're adults, then these things shouldn't have to be mentioned, but they need to be mentioned only insofar as how you decide to divvy up the responsibilities between you and your lady. Other than that, it's there's a lot of flex. And the first and foremost important thing for a relationship, for for your ladies, affirm her, but obviously sincerely. So what, babe, just, if she's having a bad day or good day, just say, what, I got your back. I'm your number one support. You can always rely on me. I'm your biggest cheerleader, and I'll always have your back. I'm here for you through the thick and thin, and I'm committed to you no matter what happens. And then follow through. So there's expression of words, and there's follow through of actions, and as we all know, I should say. talk is cheap, words speak are actually louder than actions. No, I'm not saying words are important, because words are important and they're necessary. But words have to be married to action through integrity and commitment. All right, so those are now I've run the full gamut for the guys. Now I'm going to switch over to advice for girls, the things that girls should be avoiding, and the things that girls should be doing and expressing. So I'm doing it again, small scale to bigger scale, for what girls should be avoiding. First one I would mention is don't neglect social cues, social verbal cues, and when you're with your man. So a good example is to say if your man comes home, and I used to work 12-hour shifts. This is a good example, right? Just hypothetically speaking, if I come home from work after 12-hour shifts, which I did for many years, and my woman asked, "Hey, hon, how's your day?" I was like, "Oh, that's good." He's like, "Well, what'd you do?" Same as always. And I've given her indication now, my second verbal response, that I'm not really interested in carrying on a conversation. I just got home from work. I'm tired, and let's get something. So let's work together and getting something on the table so we can both eat and then rest. And also, I would say in that, so if your woman, pay attention to those cues, and understand that your man may not always want to talk, especially if he's just come home for a long day of work. Most men just want to chill, and I think that's reasonable. The second thing I would tell women to avoid is being unnecessarily expressive, especially, again, like, say, for another example, if your man has just come home from work and you've had this monster of a day, good, bad, or otherwise, but you just feel like you gotta share what's going on to your man. I would say a man should understand that a woman would want to share. So understand too that just in many times in situations, your woman won't even have to. So your man, if you're a man, you can just make sure you're paying attention, but you don't probably have to talk much at all. And it's in most of these situations, anyways, because your woman just wants to get stuff off her chest and express what's going on in her life. But I also would say caution if your woman, as much as you want to get this off your chest and you're excited, or whatever you may be feeling to share, understand that your man probably doesn't want to hear too much, but he's probably understanding enough. You would hope that you could listen without turning out, but I mean, you may see your man tuning out at some point too. So just pay attention to that. The third thing I would say for women to avoid is unnecessary detail in conversation, and this is much more pronouncedly expressed in women than men, generally speaking. Stit test. I remember when I was in grade 8. That's 95, so that's 19 years ago. That this stat had come out that on average, the average woman spoke, was it 10? No, it was more. I think it was 12 or 13,000 words a day, and men were like 7 to 9. So obviously, women are typically more verbally expressive. But I would say women, it's fine to be expressive, but we have an expression in English like, you don't need to beat a dead horse, which is just a blunt way of saying once you've made your point, move on. Men don't like it when women beat the point to death, so to speak, and that men don't like it. Yeah, men don't like it when women are unnecessarily elaborate. Actually, men don't like it when anyone's unnecessarily elaborate, especially if we're tired. So watch your, as Dr. Jordan Peterson said, be precise with your speech. And you can do that as a woman. Maybe harder, but can be done. And there are a lot of succinct female communicators, and I know some of them. So just putting that out there. Okay. Second thing that women should be avoiding to do with their man is, I would say, taking things in a way that they're not intended. And then I gave this example with my ex. My ex's birthday is in January. I have a sister-in-law's birthday who's also in January, and I said to her in one conversation that that sister-in-law is the only one in my family that has a birthday in January. And my ex took it, oh, so I'm not part of the family. Like, come on, like I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like that sister-in-law is the only sister-in-law on my side of the family that has a birthday in January. I did not mean it to mean that my ex wasn't part of the family. My ex chose to take it that way unnecessarily, which was immature and uncalled for on her part. And I was annoyed that she took it that way because I didn't mean it that way, and she's in her 40s. She should know better. Um, and then finally, last but not least, the habit that women should avoid more than any other habit is being condescending, demeaning, and um, and kind of like just cutting your man down with words and intonation and making him feel like 2 inches tall. I would say far and away that is the worst trait for a female to have in a relationship. Um, yeah, and men don't like it, but a lot of men don't know how to deal with it because of the dynamics of between the sexes. A lot of men don't know how to deal with it. A lot of men just internalize it. They feel like crap and they just live alone with their partners. Or sometimes the men will just leave, or sometimes the woman will just leave because women can't respect men that let them walk over them emotionally. Okay, so those are the 5 things that a woman should avoid without fail. Now, these are the 5 things a woman should do, and I would encourage every woman to do these things in the relationship with a man, or maybe in the future with a man if you don't have one at the moment. So the fifth one, I would same thing, but differently. Just be verbally appreciative of what your man brings in the relationship and what he does in the relationship. So the that would yeah. So for example, um, let's just say for example you're low on milk and cereal and maybe a few other things around the house, and you don't have time because you're busy with the kids, so you ask your man to pick those things up on the way home from work after he's worked a long day, and if he's a part of the relationship, which he obviously is, then it should not come as a burden to him. Now, he may be tired, he may not want to do it, but he should do it as the man in the relationship. So, and then say you have a man that will actually follow through and get everything on the list to the best of his ability. I mean, sometimes I've been in where things weren't there, so I just get something alternative, the closest thing you can, and come home and just when your man comes home with that grocery list after he's worked a long day of work, say thanks, babe. I really appreciate that you got those groceries for me, and I couldn't have done it myself because I had to deal with and take care of the kids, and so I really appreciate that you did that. Yeah, and just that, and then men were like, okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Second thing I would do is if you're a woman, do things for your man on a semi-regular basis that affirm how you feel about him, that makes it demonstrates how you feel about him. So maybe I don't know what your guy is into. Maybe your man is a hockey fan, so maybe once in a while get him tickets to a hockey game, or maybe he's like me, he's a music fan, so get him every once in a while, get him tickets, or maybe 2 of you too. You can make a date night. Get if you like the same music, get tickets to a show and have some fun. Like that, make date nights. Actually, yeah, I'd say make dating a regular part of your relationship. even actually, especially if you're married, make dating absolutely essential to your marriage. Um, do things for your man, like still romantic, but not those special occasion things, but like just things that speak to him, that are part of him. So, for example, I am into martial arts and I am into apologetics. So, if I was your man, maybe book me a conference with Frank Turek or William Lane Craig or David Wood or someone like that. Or, because I'm into martial arts, maybe book me a tournament to see a live UFC fight with some of the top in the business, or something like that. But also like the smaller things too. So the things like I like I enjoy James Patterson book. James Patterson is my favorite fictional author, far and away. Hi.
Hi, we're closing doors.
Oh, you
I
still
know it's still 15 minutes, but we are like short staff, so.
okay? I only got like three minutes.
Okay, can you just let us
Yeah,
know
yeah,
when
yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go
Sure,
out?
sure. Okay, um, so that would be that. So the small things too, like say my dad also likes I like chocolate, so maybe get more chocolate, a Henry bar, or maybe something that's like this. I just got a Fitbit for uh, my as a birthday gift, something that would speak to him. So do those things on a regular basis. And then number two, I would just say, uh, hmm, you would have to. Well, yeah, sacrificial. So do things around the house together. You have to be sacrificial. You both have to work hard. So that means you got to take care of the house as well. If you're a lady, you have to contribute to the dishes, the laundry, housekeeping. You have to contribute to that. Without a doubt, you have got to contribute to that, and that's going to be key for the success of your relationship for both of you. And again, number one, without a doubt, you have got to be your man's number one cheerleader. And I'm not just talking about in the bed, ladies. I'm also talking about, more importantly, to be your man's cheerleader, verbally, uh, expressively, undeniably. Your man needs to know that you've got his back, and that you treat him like a queen. He treats you like a king. You treat him like a king. He treats you like a queen. Everybody wins. And I would also say too, guys, and I'm going to close with this, is that you have to know that a woman's heart is like a garden that needs tending to. If you feed this garden with nutrients and water and rich soil and all the things that produce life, your woman's heart and life will thrive and grow and develop. But if you neglect it and don't water it and don't feed it, don't pay attention to it, it will shrivel up like a weed and die. Now that goes for both. A guy's heart is also like a garden too, but our gardens are built differently. And I think that's pretty obvious. I'm just going to close with that. All right, that's it for now. Peace out.